Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. I'm not going to stop talking about Epstein. And I have exclusive news for you right now because someone wants journalists to stop talking about Epstein. And her name is Melania Trump. I spoke with an independent journalist today who received a demand letter from Melania Trump threatening to sue him over his reporting.
A journalist just got a letter from the First Lady of the United States. Retract it or get sued. This just happened. And instead of backing down, he read the whole thing out loud, and the threat is already unraveling.
Zev Shalev. He's a Canadian journalist. And I want to show you exclusively the demand letter he received from Brito PLLC. Brito PLLC is a firm that represents the Trump family. And this letter he received 9 days ago, a demand to retract, apologize, and compensate for the false, malicious, and defamatory statements about the First Lady of the United States of America.
Here's what we actually know, the documented part. Melania Trump's attorney, Alejandro Brito, sent a retraction demand to independent journalist Zev Shalev and to Amanda Ungaro. It targets their report titled The First Lady Spy Scandal, and it demands they retract what it calls false and defamatory statements and pay for overwhelming financial and reputational harm. One key fact people keep missing: no lawsuit has actually been filed. This is a demand letter, a threat.
And here are the statements that they allege are defamatory in the video. The first is the title, The First Lady Spy Scandal. The second is, quote, what is she trying to hide? Why come out with a statement like that without ever needing to? It's really the man that you have in common with her, which is Paolo Zampoli. And then the third is Melania tried to get Zampoli to be an ambassador, and she went on to insist that he become a special envoy. He brought her to the United States. He's in constant contact with her. She rewarded him with the special envoy title. This letter says that those statements are false, malicious, and defamatory because they wrongfully imply that Mrs. Trump is committing a myriad of wrongful acts.
So what are the three statements the letter calls defamatory? 1. The video's title, First Lady Spy Scandal. And here's a detail worth noting. Reporting indicates the word spy is never actually said in the interview. 2 and 3. Two questions Shalev asked out loud about an April press conference and about Melania's connection to Paolo Zampoli. Now the letter frames these as accusations of wrongdoing. Shalev's side says they were questions and sourced reporting. I'll let you sit with that difference.
Shalev's lawyer sent the following statement in part, or the following letter in part to Melania's lawyers saying, I represent Zev Shalev and write in response to your letter of July 21st, 2026. As to Mr. Shalev, you make a variety of allegations regarding supposed malice, recklessness, purposeful avoidance, ill will, lack of diligence, bias, and overwhelming financial and reputational harm, all of which are incorrect and all of which will be vigorously disputed should you choose to pursue your legal rights and remedies. Regardless, your retraction demand is defective under the Florida retraction statute. That statute requires the claimant to specify the statements in the article or broadcast which are alleged to be false and defamatory. In cases decided under the statute, require the claimant do so with, quote, particularity. Mr. Shalev takes his responsibilities as a journalist seriously. He will respond to your allegations in full and fulsome fashion.
Shalev didn't blink. His lawyer's reply says every allegation will be, quote, vigorously disputed. And it makes a sharp legal point. It argues the retraction demand is defective under Florida's own retraction statute because the law requires the claimant to identify the false statements with particularity. On air, Shalev put it plainly. His words, he doesn't even know how to retract it because, he says, it's accurate reporting. Here's the part that turns this from a spat into a pattern. The same week, the First Lady's lawyers reportedly sent a similar letter to a blogger named Anthony Andrews, someone with fewer than 1,000 subscribers. Think about that. A First Lady's legal firepower pointed at a small independent writer. When the threats scale down to the smallest voices, that's usually not about one video. That's about the message it sends to everyone else. Now, in fairness, the other side. Through her attorney, Melania Trump's position is that these statements are false, malicious, and defamatory, and that they caused her real financial and reputational harm. That is her stated right to claim. And Paolo Zampoli has said on the record that it was he, not Jeffrey Epstein, who introduced the couple back in 1998. Those denials matter, and they belong in this story. The reporters dispute that account. A demand letter doesn't settle which side is right. That's exactly what a court or discovery would test. There are two questions hanging over all of this. First, if you believe a claim is false, a lawsuit forces the other side to prove their case, but it also opens you up to discovery, depositions, documents. So the question a lot of people are asking is simple: if you're this confident, why send a letter and stop, instead of actually filing? Second, we've seen big defamation threats from this family before that never became lawsuits. So, threat or follow-through. I'm not going to tell you the answer, I'm going to let the pattern speak. Okay, here's my opinion, clearly labeled as opinion, protected speech. I think the First Amendment exists precisely for moments like this, so a reporter can ask uncomfortable questions about powerful people without a law firm landing in his inbox. You can believe someone's reporting is wrong and still defend their right to publish it. And honestly, there's an irony here the internet already has a name for: the Streisand effect. Try to bury a story and you hand it a bigger audience. That's my read. You're free to disagree. So where does it stand? A letter was sent. A reporter said no. No suit has been filed. And a legal defense fund is now up. That's the documented story. Everything else is still contested, and we'll follow it honestly as it moves. If you want journalism that reports the receipts and labels the opinion, subscribe. Let's get to that next milestone together. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.